Guys, Dimension Master Studios here. How y'all doing? So, in case you guys don't know, recently there was something pretty big that was revealed about the Netherrealm and Season 11 when it comes to Ninjago. This is something that was revealed by Doc Wyatt, one of the head writers for Ninjago, on Twitter, and if what Doc Wyatt said is to be believed, then it makes the future of a lot of Ninjago characters very uncertain. And so in today's video, I just wanted to talk about what Doc Wyatt said, and I wanted to share my thoughts on the situation. So let's get into this whole thing. So, for a bit of background when it comes to this whole situation, recently Doc Wyatt was asked a question on Twitter revolving around the Netherrealm and the idea of there being a time difference between it and Ninjago. And this is something that Ninjago fans have been wondering about ever since 2019 with the release of Season 11. During Season 11, Zane was sent to the Netherrealm and he ended up becoming the Ice Emperor. However, when it came to Zane, it appeared as if he had been ruling over the Netherrealm for a very long time. In fact, it's been confirmed multiple times that when it comes to Zane, he had been ruling over the Netherrealm for 60 years. However, this was something that was very confusing, mainly because Zane was sent to the Netherrealm, but from the perspective of the ninja, he wasn't in the Netherrealm for a very long time, and he was only gone from Ninjago not that long. It's not entirely clear how long Zane was gone from Ninjago. I've heard some people say that Zane was only gone for a few days. Meanwhile, I've heard other people say that Zane was gone for up to a month before the ninja went to go and find him. But eventually, the ninja did end up go to rescue Zane, and in that time, apparently 60 years ended up passing. And when it came to multiple characters during Season 11, they said that time works differently in the Netherrealm. So again, the whole situation was made pretty confusing, especially since during the events of Season 11, the ninja ended up spending a little over a week inside of the Netherrealm, and the exact same amount of time ended up passing in Ninjago, so again, the whole situation was made kind of confusing. And when it came to Tommy Andreasen, the co-creator of the show, he said that when it came to Zane being the Netherrealm for 6 decades, that was because when Zane was sent to the Netherrealm, Asphira also sent him back in time. And when it comes to this explanation, I feel like it does make a lot of sense given Asphira's character and what we saw from her during Season 11 with her wanting Wu to suffer. But another big reason why I really like this explanation that Zane was sent back in time is because of the alternative scenario where there is a time difference between the Netherrealm and Ninjago, meaning that when it came to all of the new characters that we met during the events of the Ice chapter at this current point in Ninjago, they would all be dead. So again, I really didn't like the idea of there being a time difference between the Netherrealm and Ninjago. However, when it comes to Doc Wyatt, he said something that I feel makes this whole situation very confusing. So, when it comes to Doc Wyatt, like I said, he was asked whether or not there was a time difference between the Netherrealm and Ninjago, and Doc Wyatt said that there was a time difference between the Netherrealm and Ninjago. However, like I said, when it came to Tommy Andreasen, he said that Zane was sent back in time 60 years, meaning that there isn't a time difference between the Netherrealm and Ninjago, yet according to Doc Wyatt, there is a time difference. Or rather, there was a time difference until the merge happened. So again, when it comes to Doc Wyatt saying this, it made the whole situation kind of confusing. Further making the situation confusing, though, another Ninjago fan asked Doc Wyatt a different question revolving around what that meant for the characters in the Netherrealm, specifically about their aging and formlings aging differently compared to humans, which is something else that Tommy Andreasen talked about. When it comes to Tommy Andreasen, he said that when it came to formlings, they actually age differently compared to humans. And he said that when it comes to Akita, she is considerably older than Lloyd, meaning that when it comes to formlings, they have extended lifespans and they can live for a very long time. And like I said, Doc Wyatt was asked whether or not this still holds true, and Doc Wyatt said that everything that Tommy Andreasen said is true. Now, this I feel also makes the whole situation kind of confusing because, like I said, when it comes to Doc Wyatt, he said that there is a time difference between the Neverrealm and Ninjago, yet Tommy Andreasen said that Zane was sent back in time 60 years, meaning that there is no time difference, and Doc Wyatt is also saying that everything that Tommy said was true, meaning that when it comes to Tommy Andreasen, he would be right about not only the Formlings aging differently compared to humans, but also that when it comes to the Neverrealm, there is no time difference and Zane was sent back in time. Now, it is also entirely possible that when it comes to Doc Wyatt, he may have been sarcastic when it comes to this response. However, I really hope that isn't the case, because like I said, if there is indeed a time difference between the Neverrealm and Ninjago, then that would mean that by the time Dragon's Rising started pre-merge, it would mean that all the new characters that we met during the Ice chapter at this current point in the show, they would all be dead, and that is an idea that I really do not like. Like I said, I really do not like the idea of there being a time difference between the Neverrealm and Ninjago because, as I said, that would mean that when it comes to all of the new characters that we met during the events of the Ice chapter, at this current point in the show, they would all be gone and we wouldn't get a chance to see them again during the events of the show. So that's already something that I really don't like, but by far the biggest reason why I really don't like this is because of Akita. I have made it so incredibly crystal clear on my channel that for me personally, I really like Akita. Akita is by far one of my favorite characters in all of Ninjago, and at this point, her and Zane are both tied for being my overall favorite character when it comes to the Ninjago franchise. And the idea of Akita dying off screen in between seasons all because of something that was made unclear by the show, that's something that I really don't like, especially since the ending of the Ice chapter set up the idea of Akita returning. During the final episode of the Ice chapter, we got some narration from Akita with her talking about seeing Lloyd again, ending the season with the line, "Never is a very long time," setting up the idea of her returning and her and Lloyd getting the chance to reunite at some point. And personally, I really don't like the idea that we're not going to get a chance to see this if Akita is indeed dead because of a time difference between the Neverrealm and Ninjago. Although, when it comes to the setup for Akita's return, that's also a reason why I feel like Akita isn't dead and why I feel like all the characters in the Neverrealm are still alive. Because the show already set up the idea of Akita returning. And I feel like from a writing perspective, it wouldn't make any sense for the show to set up the idea of a character returning and having that character reunite with another character, only for that character to die and we don't get a chance to see that character return and have that character reunite with another character. Again, from a writing perspective, I feel like it wouldn't make any sense not to bring Akita back considering what we saw during the Ice chapter. But also, another big reason why I feel like Akita isn't dead, though, is because I feel like if the writers were to actually announce that kind of thing, then it would result in a lot of controversy and backlash when it comes to the fanbase. When it comes to Akita, she is a fan favorite character who a lot of Ninjago fans really like, and I feel like if the writers were to announce that Akita and all the other Neverrealm characters ended up dying off screen in between seasons, it's something that would make a lot of Ninjago fans very angry. And in fact, when it comes to Doc Wyatt, he's already getting a lot of backlash at this point for what he said about the Neverrealm and there being a time difference. And again, I feel like if the writers were to actually say that when it comes to Akita and all the other Neverrealm residents, they're all dead, I feel like that would just result in even more backlash and controversy from the fan base, which is why, again, I feel like Akita and all the other Neverrealm residents aren't dead. And so, when it comes to this whole situation revolving around the Neverrealm and there being a time difference and what this would end up meaning for the characters of the Neverrealm, once again, it's not super clear because we haven't really gotten a proper answer as to whether or not the residents of the Neverrealm are currently alive or dead. But when it comes to this whole situation, personally, I want to believe that the characters are still alive, and at this point, I do still believe in the idea that Zane was sent back in time as a result of Asphira, and there is no time difference. Because, like I said, I really don't like the idea of there being a time difference between the Neverrealm and Ninjago, because I don't like the idea of a bunch of characters who I really like having died off screen in between seasons because of some stuff that was made unclear. In my opinion, that would be a very, very unsatisfying end to all of these characters if, again, they all just died off screen because of something that wasn't made clear by the show. It's something that I honestly don't like. Now, if I can just get a bit more serious and more personal with you guys, if we do end up getting some kind of reveal that when it comes to Akita and all the other residents of the Neverrealm, if they are indeed dead as a result of a time skip between the Neverrealm and Ninjago, I would honestly stop watching the show as a result of that. Now, something that I feel is kind of clear when it comes to videos that I've made over the past year when it comes to my channel is that personally, I haven't exactly been the biggest fan of Ninjago for the past few years. I've made it so incredibly clear that when it comes to Crystallized, I really, really didn't like that season, and I thought it was honestly a terrible ending to the previous era of Ninjago. And as I stated on a few times, I'm not the biggest fan of Season 1 of Dragon's Rising, and I feel like Season 1 of Dragon's Rising did do some things that wasn't the best for the Ninjago franchise. However, despite stuff like that, even though there have been some decisions that have been made by the people who work on the show that I don't necessarily disagree with, I can still go along with the franchise and I can still find enjoyment in it in one way or another. But at the same time, there are also some lines that I have to draw, and I'm thinking that if the writers were to actually do this kind of thing, then I wouldn't be able to take it anymore, and this is definitely one of those things. If, when it comes to Akita, she is indeed dead as a result of a time skip, that would honestly just cause me to stop watching the show altogether. And it's for a couple of reasons. For starters, as I said earlier, Akita's return was set up at the end of the Ice chapter, and at the time of me making this video, it has been over 4 years since the episode Awakenings, and that is 4 years of waiting for Akita to return, yet so far that hasn't happened yet. And if I'm getting honest with you guys, I'm kind of tired of having to wait so long to see this character who I really like make their return. So the idea of her dying off screen in between seasons, meaning that we don't get a chance to see her return, once again, that is something that I really, really do not like. But at the same time, the idea of Akita dying would be a very big deal for me, because Akita is the reason why I started watching Ninjago again. Following Season 8 and early into Season 9, I went into my Ninjago Dark Age where I stopped watching Ninjago for a while. I didn't watch a majority of Season 9, and I didn't see Seasons 10, 11, 12, or 13. That was until I started watching some YouTube clips on Ninjago, and I ended up watching a lot of clips that revolved around Akita, and I really, really liked them. I liked what I saw, I enjoyed Akita's character, and I liked what I saw when it came to her and Lloyd, and she was the character that brought me back into the franchise, and as I've stated on multiple occasions, she's the big reason why I really like the Ice chapter. So when it comes to Akita, she really, really means a lot to me as a character because, as I said, she's the entire reason why I got back into the franchise in the first place. And the idea of her dying off screen in between seasons because of, again, something that wasn't made clear by the show, that's something that I genuinely, really, really don't like. And in my opinion, it would be a very unsatisfying conclusion for Akita, especially since, like I said, her return was set up at the end of the Ice chapter, and the idea that we're not going to get a chance to see her come back and seeing her and Lloyd finally reunite after all this time, that is an idea that I really, really don't like. When it comes to Ninjago overall, I haven't exactly been the biggest fan of the direction that the franchise has been going in for the past couple years ever since Crystallized. However, if when it comes to this whole situation, it ends up being the case that Akita is actually dead as a result of a time difference between the Netherrealm and Ninjago, honestly, I just wouldn't be able to take it anymore. Because I genuinely feel like killing off Akita in between seasons, all because of something that wasn't made clear in the show, I genuinely feel like that would be one of the worst decisions that the writers could make, especially considering what we saw at the end of the Ice chapter with Akita's return getting set up. And like I said, I would honestly just stop watching the show if this were to be the case. I genuinely want to remain optimistic about this whole situation, and I do want to hope that Akita is still alive and we can get a chance to see her again at some point. And I do hope that this does end up being the case and something does end up getting clarified, because if that's not the case and she is in fact gone, like I said, I would just stop watching the show as a result of that. Which is something that I really don't want to do, considering the fact that Ninjago is my favorite TV show and it's been that way for most of my life. Like, so me no longer watching the show all because of something that the writers did is an idea that I really don't like. But I feel like it is a possibility unless we get something clarified when it comes to this whole situation. I genuinely hope that Akita and all the other Neverrealm residents are still alive and we do get some kind of clarification when it comes to this whole thing. Because if not, then like I said, I'm not going to be watching the show anymore. I just won't be able to handle it. And so that's pretty much all I got for you guys. So tell me down below what do you guys think. Tell me what are your guys' thoughts when it comes to this whole situation. Tell me down below, and I hope you guys enjoy. Later, guys. This is Dimension Master Studios, signing off.